Glad you've joined me on this virtual journey into topic 1.2, Elements of Life. I'm Margaret Evans, and I will be your instructor for this lesson as we take a look at the chemistry of life. So let's get ready to science. What will we learn? In this video, we will learn about the living systems and how they require a constant input of energy, why living systems must exchange matter with their environment, and what role does carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus play in the building of biological macromolecules. Living systems do require a constant input of energy to accomplish all of the processes that are necessary to sustain life. And the law of conservation of energy states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. Living systems must follow the laws of energy. And we need that energy in order to grow, reproduce, and maintain organization. Oftentimes, the energy that is accessed by living systems is stored in chemical bonds. In this video, we see how this athlete is utilizing the stored energy in the chemical bonds of the food that we eat in order to have his muscles work, play, and do the necessary activities to sustain living cells. Living systems must require an exchange of matter with their environment. The only way that we can get certain atoms and molecules necessary for life is through accessing them in the environment. And so atoms and molecules from the environment are necessary to build important molecules like carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, and lipids. Carbon is used to build all of them. And so in our data table here, we're going to go ahead and check off each of them, as carbon is necessary for the building of all four. Nitrogen is used to build proteins and nucleic acids. And lastly, we have phosphorus, which is used to build nucleic acids and certain lipids, which we'll talk about a little bit further. Looking at an example of how carbon is used to build a macromolecule, carbon has a unique ability to bond with other carbon atoms, creating what's called carbon skeletons. And here are some examples of carbon skeletons. We have carbons connected to each other to form chains, rings, and branches, and other atoms can attach to those carbon skeletons. And this allows for these carbon skeletons to give cells opportunities to build very large and complex molecules. Carbon-containing molecules can be used, as we mentioned before, to store energy for later use. And the carbon-containing molecules can also be used to form basic cell structures like cell membranes. So the practice for this particular video is a describe. And so we're going to use a visual representation to describe the characteristics of a biological concept or process. And so here is an example of a question that you might encounter that focuses on a describe. Take a moment to read through the question. And when you think that you have your answer, go ahead and select it and come back and we will discuss. Okay, hopefully you selected letter C. Now, in going through this answer, I'm going to talk about why the other choices were not the best choice. And so choice A talks about high temperatures, and nowhere in this prompt do they discuss anything about high temperatures, so we can't make any assumptions about the effect of high temperatures on the plant. So that one negates option A. Option B talks about decreasing the amount of nitrogen, which is fair, but then we get into talking about how nitrogen is available to make carbohydrates. And based off of our chart that we learned a couple slides back, nitrogen is not used to build carbohydrates, and so therefore that one rules that out as an option. And then letter D talks about the heavy rains washing away the nitrogen-containing molecules that are absorbed by the leaves. And in the information provided for this question, it tells us that nitrogen is actually absorbed by the roots of the plant and not the leaves. So that one takes that one out as a possible choice. So we're left with C, that the heavy rains decreased the nitrogen-containing molecules in the soil, and the plant was unable to produce pigments responsible for the green coloration of leaves. So what should we take away from this lesson? Well, living systems, once again, need a constant input of energy because they have to abide by the laws of the conservation of energy. Atoms and molecules from the environment are necessary to build the important molecules of life. Carbon is used to build all of the macromolecules, and it also assists in storing chemical energy and forming basic cell structures. Nitrogen is used to build proteins and nucleic acids, and phosphorus is used to build nucleic acids and certain lipids. So, life is chemical. Biology is everywhere. You can't escape it, so you might as well enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed my lesson. Biology out.